Aurora Women's Conference. A lot of women are registering to attend the Aurora Women's Conference on June 8th and 9th, 2023 at the Elisa Hotel, Accra. Are you one of them? If not, register now at www.strandsofpearls.org or WhatsApp +233 265 051 182 and roar. In this career mapping video, women are encouraged to be assertive, confident in going after job roles and opportunities.
And we talk about how you show up in the workplace and doing a good job. And also talked about skills and competencies, but how do we package all that when we walk into a room and when we walk into an interview? What would you say top 3 things we need to think about in terms of how we package ourselves?
I would say confidence is absolutely key. Confidence shines through everything. I do a lot of meetings, a lot of mentoring with students and grads who are coming out, and that's the first thing that I always tell them. It's about, first of all, the confidence and how you project yourself. People see it right away, and after that confidence, you have to know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be well. If you're well read, it puts you in a much better situation. When you're having conversations with people, it comes across very clearly. So first, confidence is very key, and then do your research about who you're going to meet with, right? I mean, when we had the conversation, you inviting me here, I asked, okay, who's going to be, who's here? So you can speak to the audience effectively. You're going for an interview. Do your research about the company and who. I mean, usually you know who is going to be on the panel. Who's going to be on the panel? What is it? Is there anything about them that you can introduce into the interview? The first question that we HR usually like to ask you is, tell me, walk me through your CV. And I tell people it's the best opportunity to wrap to put your packaging across who you are very succinctly, bring out the the achievements very quickly in the interview. So with that question, usually people will start talking like role to role. In 1996, I worked at Nestle. I was head of HR. In 1998, no. So instead, talk about I worked in Nestle in 1996, and while I was there, the pivotal moment for me was when I did so and so and so, and then I moved to so and so and so, and I did this, and this is what I did. Sometimes I think our culture too we're too humble sometimes, and so when we're asked about, tell me about a time you did this and this, we always revert to, when we did this and the team did this, which is all well and good, but it doesn't bring out, I want to know what you did, what your role was. And so the confidence becomes then very key, because you're not afraid to talk about your achievements. Not bragging, but if you have done it, you talk about it. You say, when I was on this project, here's what I did, and collectively as a team, this is what we did. So you don't come across like you're the only one who carried the whole organization, but that as well. The second thing I would say, and I think I mentioned this, is breadth of experiences. Sometimes we're human. We're all in a hurry to move up. I am analyst. I need to move to senior analyst in the next year. The next year I have to be manager. The next 2 years I have to be senior manager. And it doesn't always work out like that. But what you shouldn't sacrifice on is, if you're not getting the breadth, if you're not getting different experiences, then you become stuck at the organization. And so you should have you should have a conversation with your manager, with HR, and going into that conversation, you have to be prepared. So don't go and say, well, I've been in this role for 2 years. What do you have for me next? No. You should say, I've been in this role for 2 years, and I've been looking at opportunities in the organization. These and these and these are the roles that are available. This is what I think I can do next, right? Can you tell me if there's anything that is hindering me from getting to this next role, and how can we work together on it? So that becomes a more involving conversation, and it allows your HR, it allows your manager to help and give you some tips. I tell people the first time that a role becomes available is not when you raise your hand up. You raise your hand up before the role becomes available and say, hey, I'm interested in Susan's role next. What are the gaps between where I am now and what it would take to get to Susan's role? So can you help me put together a development plan that will get me there? So breadth of experiences is important. I think I touched on the third one. Be bold and ask for what is, sometimes, a lot of the time, research shows that women tend to negotiate less, men tend to negotiate more aggressively, right? And so then they get more compensation, and you'd see a woman and a man both have similar experiences, but then the man is getting paid more, and sometimes it boils down to how you negotiated coming into the role. Some organizations every year, example Vodafone, we look at, okay, is there any discrepancies between Amma and Kofi? They have similar experiences, they came in at the same time, and then we actively correct that. But if you're not fortunate enough to work in an organization that does that, you have to look at, first of all, what you're bringing to the table, what you've done, your experiences. There's always workplace chats, you know, this guy is making a little more than me, and why is that? So have the conversations. You're in a position of power, especially if you've been putting in the work, because the cost to replace you is way more than how much they will give you extra. So have the conversation, be bold, and practice first with your friends, practice in your mirror, with your mirror, and go and be bold and ask for what you deserve.
Thank you. I do want to share a small story. I was hiring, in one of the roles that I had, I was hiring a fairly senior role. And I had the application of a very junior individual. And I remember seeing it and thinking, So I called him up and I said, listen, I really appreciate you applying for the job, but I think it will be a little bit outside of your scope and breadth of experience. He said, it's okay, Susan. I just wanted you to know who I was. And I've never forgotten him.
Yeah.
And then I go and talk to my fellow ladies about different roles, and are you sure I can do the job? So the confidence in yourselves and your abilities, I do think as women, we tend to be too shy.
Yes.
We want to have 90% of what the job is asking for before we apply for it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And then the opportunity to raise your hand up for different things as they come up in the organization, especially, sometimes projects come up and it's working with, either the CEO, the senior leadership team, and you're so shy, you're wondering how you're going to step up and work on this project with so and so. But those are where the real experiences, that's where you get visibility, because visibility is so important, especially in a big organization. You have to be recognized. So it's on these small projects that come up, that you get visibility and people remember you,
right,
when your name is being mentioned across it.
Now I must say, I have been following your fashion style for some time now. And, I know Fatima is going to talk about branding, but how powerful is personal presentation in everything we do, especially in the workspace?
It's very important as well. I mean, you have to know the environment that you're going in, and you have to blend in your personal style as well. When I started with Vodafone, anywhere I go, I'm very clear that, okay, this is where I am, this is why I love fashion. I love experimenting, so I'm not going to be in a staid, long skirt. I mean, everybody's, and they call me...
Naomi Campbell?
No. They said, not your usual HRD.
No.
Not your usual HRD. I was like, well, what are HRD supposed to look like? We're not old-fashioned. So, I have my fashion sense, and then, that's how I show up. You have to be appropriate, that's all I say. You have to be appropriate. Recently, we had we support the 2-4 golf tournament, so we went there, and you have to, go play. And then I saw one of the ladies from another organization, and she was wearing, very low-cut top and biker shorts.
Oh, wow.
On the golf course.
Jesus.
With, Tumfo and his entourage and, all these big important people. I'm like, so be appropriate. And if you don't know, you should ask. Maybe she had never been asked to come on a golf course before. But then that's where you have to ask. Sometimes you feel like, Charlie, if I ask, people are going to think I don't know. But you don't know. So, or Google. Google is your friend. Just Google, what is appropriate attire for so and so. I try to be as appropriate
You didn't know.
as I can.
A lot of women are registering to attend the Aurora Women's Conference on June 8th and 9th, 2023 at the Elisa Hotel, Accra. Are you one of them? If not, register now at www.strandsofpearls.org or WhatsApp +233 265 051 182 and roar.